Hey guys, Comic Boom here to talk about Batman number 40, which continues the story of Batman and Wonder Woman essentially trapped in another realm after agreeing to help the Gentleman, give the Gentleman a break from all his fighting. Gentleman comes to our world, they replace the Gentleman fighting off the everlasting horde of monsters and all kinds of things that could invade our world unless they're stopped. Batman and Wonder Woman doing that, while the Gentleman comes to our world to visit his basically his wife. But what the Gentleman doesn't disclose to Batman and Wonder Woman, but ends up disclosing to Selina Kyle at the end of last issue and ramming it home this issue, is that time works a little different in the two places. So basically at the end of last issue, Batman and Wonder Woman had already spent 10 years fighting in this other realm, while the Gentleman only less than a day had passed in the real world. So yeah, that pissed off Selina Kyle a little bit. And Selina Kyle's a little bit worried at the end of last issue, because at the end of last issue, if you recall, Batman and Wonder Woman were getting close by that campfire, and it was a lot of temptation, because bear in mind, 10 years, you're constantly fighting, you're sweating, you're battling alongside this woman here, and you're always thinking about this woman here. Well, if you're Batman, hey, you're probably going to give in to temptation, right? But guess what happens here? Well, by the way, this is going to be riddled with spoilers, so if you don't like spoilers, go to a different video. But in the meantime, this is spoiler-riffish, or whatever the word is. Yeah. Batman and Wonder Woman eventually do get back to their own world, but not until after 37 years have passed for them. So even though they're not aging, they're fighting for 37 years, and do they or don't they? Do they do it? The answer is no, they don't. It's very tempting. There's some beautiful layout. Joelle Jones continues to impress me. Let me just absolutely gorgeous, beautiful artwork. Thank you, Joelle Jones. The temptation between Wonder Woman and Bruce Wayne, Diana and Bruce. It's beautiful. It's also beautiful that Selina Kyle takes the Gentleman to meet his wife, or to visit his wife for a day. There's some beautifully drawn, emotionally laden scenes of the Gentleman hugging his wife, meeting her, because he knows he doesn't have a lot of time, because the longer he spends with his wife, the more years that pass for Diana and Bruce battling the everlasting horde. So this is an issue where it basically has the Gentleman accompanied by Selina, who witnesses the Gentleman with his wife getting together with his wife for a much needed break, and it's interspersed with Batman and Wonder Woman at different years talking about different things. Here's the thing. Overall, I was pretty hard on Batman issue number 39, because I thought Tom King didn't really get the voice of Wonder Woman. He still doesn't. It's just as bad, the dialogue for Wonder Woman, as it was last issue. It could be better. It's very iffy. He clearly doesn't. The purpose of this issue obviously wasn't. Despite what the title is, the title being Super Friends Part 4, even though it's Super Friends Part 4, this really didn't focus on Batman and Wonder Woman at all. We didn't learn we learned absolutely nothing about the friendship between Batman and Wonder Woman. We never learned any real reason as to how or why they're friends, what they have in common, beyond just fighting, and beyond having a moment of sexual tension, which, I mean, let's be blunt, anybody with Wonder Woman is going to have a moment of sexual tension. We need more than that, but we didn't get more than that. This was a very superficial tale. It was very on the surface. Very disappointing. Remember that we had a lot of insights between Batman and Superman when in the date arc where Batman and Superman, they went on a double date there with Selina Kyle, Batman and Selina Kyle with Superman and Lois Lane. You really got to see how Superman and Batman felt about each other, how they felt about their friendship. We get no such insights whatsoever in either Batman 39 or Batman 40. Really don't know why Wonder Woman respects Batman if she does. What does Batman respect about Wonder Woman? They respect each other's fighting ability. They encourage each other to keep on fighting at numerous times throughout this issue, but that's about it. The dialogue is extremely disappointing. Tom King, rather than providing any insight into the characters, he has Batman and Diana have cringe-worthy dialogue with each other. Very disappointing. Again, there's a very bad sequence where Wonder Woman, I think Tom King's trying to be funny here, really misses the mark with Batman saying, sitting there, they're eating in between battles. Batman says, I miss my dog. Wonder Woman says, what? He says, I miss everyone, the boys and cat, the family, and I miss my dog, Ace. Wonder Woman says, I miss my kangaroo. You have a kangaroo? I don't talk about it, Wonder Woman says. Okay. Her name is Jumpa. She sounds nice. She is nice. And I miss her. Like, awful dialogue. Like, what's the point of that? Was that it's neither funny, it's neither quirky, it's stupid, it provides no insight. This is really cringeworthy shit. You don't even know if Wonder Woman's joking or not. I'm assuming she is. Tom King, if you want to insult Wonder Woman, why don't you be a little bit more overt about it? She doesn't have a kangaroo, but maybe, are you trying to be funny? Is that your idea of a joke? God, this is just so bad. But hey, look, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm in the minority on this because everyone's just, loving Tom King on the Tom King bandwagon. But honestly, the only thing worse than this story, in terms of the narrative, this was a bad story. This is not a story that did Wonder Woman any justice, just like it didn't do Wonder Woman any justice last issue. It doesn't do Batman justice either. As a matter of fact, the entire point of this arc, as I see it, Batman 39 issue 40, really, the only person that had a revelation here was Selina Kyle, and who thanked the gentleman, because Selina Kyle saw what true love was when she saw how the gentleman and his wife were, what true love was, because he loved his wife despite the fact that he had spent literally hundreds of years battling the Horde. He still remembered his wife. He loved her with all his heart. That's what Selina Kyle got out of it, and she thanked the gentleman at the end of it. But as for Batman and Wonder Woman, zero insights for a character. And as a matter of fact, what was even more odd is at the end of it, when they finally get back, Wonder Woman, just like a walk in the park, just, basically just flies off. And Wonder Woman at one point even asks Batman, when they get back, she says, well, if the gentleman, if the next time he needs his break and he asks us to help him out, what should I tell him? And Batman's about to, well, you can tell him he can go. He's about to say, you can tell him to go to hell, but Catwoman interrupts Batman and says, Bat, kind of relax. And the best line was reserved for Selina Kyle, who, again, Tom King nails Selina Kyle, and Selina Kyle is more in character with one line. Tom King spends 2 whole issues essentially insulting the dialogue, cringeworthy dialogue for Diana, and yet he nails Selina Kyle. Selina Kyle says, tell the gentleman we are waiting and ready, but tell him this time Batman's wife will join her husband in battle. That's good. And the best line for Wonder Woman in the best series, both of us, she says, both of us there, perhaps then the hordes will not be so everlasting. So, Wonder Woman, as I said, only has one good line in the entire 2-issue arc. Selina Kyle has all the best lines. Selina Kyle was the only one that got any insights. This was a significant miss for Tom King. Again, Joelle Jones is really making her mark in the DC universe with these issues. For that reason alone, I strongly recommend that you get these series just for the art. This was actually a storyline. This is in these full 2-issue storylines. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this would actually be a better story if Tom King didn't corrupt the pictures with his dialogue. That's how bad his dialogue is in both these issues. It would be nice, you could literally see the story. The story would be better. I read this story pretending the dialogue wasn't on the pages, and it actually flowed better, and it was easy to see what was going on, and it made a little bit more sense, and you could imagine a far more realistic dialogue for Wonder Woman than the cringe-inducing dialogue that he imposes upon her. But hey, that's pretty much it for Batman 40. Overall, entertaining. You could tempt yourself a little bit as to imagining what a real man would do as opposed to the pussy that Batman was in this issue, as if he's not going to sleep with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, again, out of character, says that she would slap his pointed little ears off if Batman was to betray Selena Kyle. By the way, Wonder Woman finally mentions Steve Trevor here, but again, in an ongoing misstatement of how she speaks, Wonder Woman is very cold. She doesn't refer to Steve as her boyfriend as Steve Trevor. She doesn't refer to him as Steve. She calls him Steve Trevor. Again, as a matter of fact, finally, Bruce, Batman refers to Diana as Diana. Diana, for the first time, utters the word Bruce. It took her 10 years before she calls him Bruce, because the first 10 years, she never once called him by his first name. This was a very poorly structured, laid out storyline. What's disappointing is, understand that Tom King had that Batman and Wonder Woman spent 37 years, a total of 37 years in this other realm. And you can imagine over 37 years, they'd have a lot of different moments together. And what's disappointing is that out of all the moments that Batman and Wonder Woman must have had together over those 37 years, he couldn't find a single moment other than the one where there was sexual tension, which is a cop-out, and that's easy. I mean, I like it. It allows Joelle Jones to show off how sexy Wonder Woman is. That's great. But there wasn't a single character-defining moment or a moment between Batman and Wonder Woman where you really saw why they're super friends, other than just in battle. They know how to fight well together, which we knew before going in. So Tom King never offered any insights as to Batman and Wonder Woman, and for that, I got to give this an epic fail. And for that reason alone, from a storytelling point of view, I would give this a 4 out of 10. I really would. A very low storytelling tale. Art, I'd give it a 9 out of 10 easy. Story-wise, this is a 4 out of 10 for me. Very disappointing. But hey, maybe you guys disagree with me. This is not Wonder Woman. Certainly not the Wonder Woman that is the kick-ass, liberated woman that you read in the comic books. And it's not even the voice of Gal Gadot. I can't imagine her sounding so cringeworthy with some of this dialogue. Absolutely atrocious. Tom King, you're better than this. Please, in the future, don't write Wonder Woman. Let somebody else write her, or at least get the advice. Have the common decency of reading a Wonder Woman comic before you write her again in the future. Please, Tom King. Thank you. All right. Also, guys, if you want to read, Tom King has also wrote the Swamp Thing Winter Special this month, which I also read, which is confusing. This is a rare missed month for Tom King in terms of quality of his work. He's really off his mark, I think. But in any event, guys, I'm going to end there. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button. And Comic Boom, out!